to Jonathan Taylor. Huge hole. He's at the 30. He's going to go. 10, 5, touchdown. Jonathan Taylor made a man miss the line of scrimmage and then runs it into Pater for a one-handed INT. Are you kidding me? Kenny Moore.
What a play by Nyheim Hines.
Horseshoe is back, baby. The horseshoe is back.
What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to the Bring the Juice Colts podcast. Breaking news here. Denico Autry leaves the Colts, signs with the Titans. Oh, my word. I mean, you look at his deal right here. Let me pull it up here before I get in here. It sucks, though, because you lose into a division rival like Tennessee, man. And gosh, I don't know. I'm just kind of like annoyed at this point. Like, why? Why do you feel the need? Benedict Denico is what I've been saying. But he signs a year. Here, I have the contract here. 3-year deal worth $21.5 million, 9 of that being guaranteed, and $14.25 million over 2 years. That's the first signing of Tennessee this offseason. Going to a division rival. Lawrence Owen, Derek Larger here with me. Guys, instant reaction to Denico Autry leaving the Colts, going to a rival.
Well, I mean, it really does stink, like you said, him going to a division rival. You hate to lose anybody to a division rival. And, you know, for as pretty well as Denico Autry's played for us over the last couple years, he's, you know, been one of the, shall we say, quote unquote, better free agent signings that Ballard has had since coming to Indianapolis. You know, has had a couple seasons where he's neared double-digit sacks, and, you know, he's had to be flexible with his positioning. He's had to go through a lot with how they're restructuring the defensive line, and he did everything that he was asked, and he did it and then some. So, you know, it sucks that he's gone, but I'm happy that he's getting paid, and he's going somewhere where he feels like he's going to get paid. So happy for him, but hate to lose him to a rival.
Yeah, I mean, losing him to a rival kind of burns a little bit, but it doesn't nearly burn as much as when we all heard Reggie Wayne signs with the New England Patriots, right? It doesn't hurt quite that bad. So I'm okay. I'm not going to call him Benedict because he was here for 3 years. All right. It's not like, you know, we drafted him and he was here for his entire tenure all the way up until the age of 31. The guy is out there trying to earn a buck. And I understand that, and I wish him well, just not wish him well when he plays against Indy.
Right. And for those people who are thinking it's a joke, guys, it's a joke. Mm-hmm. But it does suck though to lose him. You know, and not for much more than you were paying him, right? I think it's about $1.25 million or so upgrade there for Denico Autry. So obviously, when the Colts and Chris Ballard, like we've talked about a lot, when they looked at Denico Autry, they figured it's a little bit too rich for our blood for Denico Autry. I mean, a guy that's 30 plus, you know, that's kind of on the backside of his career, if you will, not, you know, kind of entering the final years of his prime kind of thing. I get it at the same time. And also, I think, guys, this kind of signals to Tyquan Lewis being one name that I think of. Hey, it's your time to step up. You got to figure this out. You know, you had a pretty solid year this last year. It's your time to step up. Fill that Denico Autry kind of role. What do you guys think about what this says to some of these young defensive linemen the Colts have drafted the last couple of years?
Derek? Okay. All right. Well, for the defensive linemen, I mean, we got 4 guys that have yet to prove that they can really hold it down, right? I mean, like you said, you already brought up Tyquan Lewis. You got Kamoko Toure, who needs to stay healthy. Showed a lot of high end one year until he got hurt, and then, you know, we haven't heard much from him. Obviously, Ben Banogu, you know, we got to see from him, see if he can hold up to Matt Eberflus's standards when it comes to practice and stuff like that, being able to get on the field. And then, of course, Al-Qadim Muhammad, who is a restricted free agent this year. I expect him to come back as well. What makes this sound big to me, what opens my eyes, is he wouldn't pay $7.5 million for Denico Autry. What makes us think that he's going to go out and pay 10, 11, 12, 13 million for a guy that is 30 plus years old? right?
Right.
I mean, Denico's 30 years old and did okay for us last season. But you want to go out and get like a Ryan Kerrigan or something, that's about the same age. Don't expect it, because I honestly think that Ryan Kerrigan's looking for at least $10 million a year as well. So some of these older defensive ends probably are not in the books for Chris Ballard. That's what I take out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. You're right. If he's not willing to spend it on a guy in-house, a guy that he brought in, then what makes you think he's going to do it for somebody else? I mean, if Denico was only getting paid $7.5 million a year, I mean, and Ballard really, really wanted him, then he could have bumped it up an extra million, and I'm sure that it wouldn't have really hurt the cap at all. So you're right. It must be either, big name free agent or nothing at all really at this point. So, or going to another position with that free agent money. So, and you're right. We don't have a lot of defensive ends right now that are really proving their worth. Kamoko Toure still yet to come back to form. Taekwon Lewis showed that he's capable of being on the roster, but, hasn't shown great flashes yet. And Ben Banigou, I've been saying it for a while. I mean, Matt Eberflus was not happy with how he practiced. And, he said, if you don't practice well, then you're not going to play. So, I mean, it's a matter of, can any of those guys get their stuff together? And, I'm just hoping that this means Ballard's got a plan to get somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of says a few things to me. First off, I think the likelihood of Justin Houston coming back is probably a lot more, in my opinion, now that you don't bring back Denico Autry. And also, we talked about this a little bit, Lawrence, on the stream. Denico Autry, when you look at stats, right, his numbers look pretty nice the last couple of years. But like you said, one game he'd have 2 or 3 sacks, and then we go for games and games where he didn't do really anything at all. And we know that the Colts have had an issue with getting consistent pressure. Denico Autry probably, from a sack standpoint, has been up there, but from a consistent pressure standpoint, I think he's struggled a little bit. And so maybe Ballard looks at it and says, look, we want to get maybe one of those younger pass rushers, or we want to continue to develop our younger guys, give them more of an opportunity to show what they're worth here. And I think, bringing back a Justin Houston, I know, it wasn't the greatest season for Houston. It kind of like, some of the stuff kind of fell off a little bit for him this past year, but I feel like it signals to me that he's probably going to be brought back. What are your thoughts on those things? Derek first.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's just one of those situations. Everything's just so fluid right now. I mean, it's hard to really tell what's going through Ballard's mind. And, I'm at that point now where I'm just getting to the point where I'm frustrated. I know you guys have been telling me about a bunch of different things. You guys saw right before this recording session that I was very upset with something that just happened. So, I'm in and out of understanding everything, but look, man, I don't know what's going to happen with Ballard and this defensive line. I mean, there's just so many questions still to be answered. And I mean, I have to tell you guys about something else that I just got on my phone here in a second, but we'll save it because this is about Denico Autry. But either way, I'll miss Denico Autry. Glad that he was part of this team. Glad that he was able to, help us out a little bit over these last couple years. 2018 was that bright spot on that defensive line. 2019 had a bad year, but bounced back in 2020 and really showed his value. So happy for him. And thanks again for doing what you did for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you have a thought, Lawrence? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think I just saw what Derek saw with the whole Denico Autry might be playing across from somebody else.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But Autry, well, now what you were talking about, I don't know if Houston does come back. Maybe Ballard is looking to get younger, straight up younger across the line. We've seen that he was willing to extend Grover Stewart last year. We saw what he did with DeForest Buckner, wanting to get young and get a premier guy at the 3 tech. I think he's looking to really officially get that youngest team, that young powerhouse, kind of like what we saw from the Atlanta Falcons 4 years ago, where you had a really, really young, fast team. And he might be going that direction. I wouldn't be against Houston coming back because that's veteran leadership. But at the same time, I think he might be going younger here. I think he's looking for someone under the age of 26.
Makes sense. Yep. All right, guys, that's our thoughts on Denico Autry signing with the Tennessee Titans, leaving the Indianapolis Colts after 3 seasons. Let us know your thoughts on Denico Autry leaving. Did you like that move? Did you want the Colts to bring him back? Let us know in the comments below. But for Lawrence and Derek, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.